The late Edo period in Japan. He is Oshio, an officer of the Shogunate. This man was very strict. He was unusually rigid with himself and with others. The routine of his day was tightly determined. Go to bed in the early evening, wake up at 2 a.m., then observe and record the stars, bathing and training in martial arts. Then he had breakfast. At 5 a.m., he would hold a study session with friends. He was also very strict at his workplace. He didn't allow anyone to break the discipline. He reported corruption to the authorities. He pointed out the dirty monks. He found and expelled pagans. He was too serious and was hated by few, but Oshio didn't care. Oshio took early retirement at the age of 38. He let his son take over the position. He wanted to do something good for society, so he started a small school at home. He taught them academic subjects. It seemed like a peaceful retirement. However, something serious was happening in the town. There were frequent famines in Japan at that time. Food was scarce and many people died of starvation. Even in Osaka, where he lived, people began to starve to death. Osaka is the second largest town after Edo. In those days, it was called the kitchen of the country. This was because food was gathered from all over Japan. Even in such Osaka, there was a shortage of rice, and the price went up. It was a bad harvest to be sure, but there were also problems with policy and distribution. The shogunate was sending rice to Edo. That's why the price of rice in Osaka rose even higher. Oshio asked the shogunate officials to take action. The officials ignored him because he was a troublesome man. Eventually, merchants stopped selling rice. If they kept it instead of selling, the price would go higher and higher. Oshio also went to rice merchants. He asked them to sell rice to the residents, but this was ignored too. After returning home, Oshio thought about it. The only way to solve this problem could be to use force. He began to think about an armed uprising. Oshio sold all his beloved books. With that money, he gave food to those in need. Then he asked them to join him in the uprising. Gradually, the number of supporters increased. His school became a place for military training. He trained his students to become soldiers, and he prepared cannons, gunpowder, and guns. Most of the preparations were ready. He even cut ties with his family in case he failed, because rebellion against the shogunate is a major crime. The whole family might be executed. One day he came up with an idea. The two important officials would meet 3 months later. How about throwing a bomb into it? His followers were indeed taken aback. They warned him against it, but he was stubborn. Oshio was excited all by himself. But one of them betrayed him. The plan was passed on to the shogunate officials. They began to monitor Oshio. Now security was tightened. He gave up the idea of attacking the meeting, but uprising had to be carried out. At first, he set fire to his own house. The flames excited the men. They set fire to the house of a wealthy merchant in town. Seeing the flames, the men became even more excited. However, they were quickly suppressed by the alert officials. But the fire that Oshio had set was not extinguished. It continued to burn until the next day. It burned 1/5 of the city of Osaka. Hundreds of people died in the fire. Tens of thousands of people lost their homes. People later called it the Great Oshio Fire. Many people not only lost their food, but also their homes. What an irony. Most of the members of the plot were caught. Oshio and his son succeeded in escaping from Osaka. They took a small boat and went wandering. But he felt responsibility. Many of his bros were caught and executed in Osaka. I don't think I should be the only one to survive. He and his son decided to go back to Osaka. His friend gave them a place to hide. But alert had not yet been lowered in Osaka. There was a woman who worked as a servant. She was told by her master to prepare an extra meal for two. She became suspicious and reported this to the officials. The officials soon arrived. Oshio and his son were found. Oshio committed suicide on the spot using explosives. He was 45 years old. The dead bodies of 90 plotters, including Oshio, were exposed to the public. In addition, 70 others were beheaded, 23 were exiled, 750 others were given smaller sentences. In the end, Oshio's uprising failed. Not only that, it caused chaos in Osaka. However, this incident shocked the shogunate. There had been such incidents before, but they were mainly carried out by farmers. On the other hand, Oshio was a former shogunate official, and some of the members of the plot were also shogunate officials. Oshio became a hero of the people for fighting bravely. One after another, people imitated him and started the uprising. The impact of Oshio's actions was very large. Thank you for watching until the end. I'd be very happy if you like this video and subscribe to my channel. See you in the next time.